everybody, I am Liz and today I want to do a book recommendations video on books with very tough, dense, difficult subject matter. Now this book recommendations somewhat turned into a tag video because I used prompts from one of my favorite books that got me through really tough times, especially when I was a teenager and going through puberty, and that is Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul on Tough Stuff. I used each section header with their quote to come up with these book recommendations, and so if you want to treat this like a tag, please do so, do the prompts, and let me know in the comments down below whether it's a blog post or a video, etc., and I will go and check it out. The first section is on self-acceptance. The quote says, "And you help each other realize that all the things you want to be, you already are." And this is by Gretchen from Dawson's Creek. The book I chose to fulfill this segment on self-acceptance is If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. This is a heart-gripping story about a trans girl transferring from living with her mother to going with her father to start a new high school so she can really focus on her own self-acceptance and finding her true self and being her true self. She also meets a boy and starts to have a crush, which is really cute, and it really is a lot more than just a typical contemporary because it's a lot about just not only her self-acceptance but also accepting her father, creating a new father-daughter relationship, and showing her father who she really is. The author's note at the end really pulls the story together and makes me really love and appreciate this story. Section 2 is drugs and alcohol. Resolve to be thyself and know that he who finds himself loses his misery, and that's by Matthew Arnold. The book I chose for this segment is The Diviners by Libba Bray. This has been a really popular book on BookTube because it's really a jack of all trades. It's a paranormal fantasy, a historical fiction, and a murder mystery. As Evie O'Neill is taken to New York City in the Roaring 20s because she gets into trouble in her hometown as she is a diviner. When she touches personal belongings, she gets an insight into its owner's histories and secrets. She decides to use her powers to help her uncle solve the murders, a string of murders that have been happening around the city, and as she goes along, she gets into a lot of trouble, she meets more diviners, and she ends up developing a pretty strong alcoholism component as she uses alcohol to cope with her powers, the fact that her parents shipped her off to her uncle, and a whole lot of other things that she's battling. Drinking gets her into a whole lot of problems. She uses her powers willy-nilly without thinking about the consequences, and so many things happen to continue her struggles and her life, and alcohol definitely does not help. Section 3 is on family matters. The Family is One of Nature's Masterpieces by George Santayana. And the book I have chosen for that is The Book of M by Peng Shepherd. This has a lot of different family dynamics as family bonds are being ripped apart and built back together, and new families are formed. In this world, people start losing their shadows, and with it, their memories start trickling away until they lose something important and vital to life and survival. This takes place with several different points of view. There's Ori and Max. They're both married, and Max loses her shadow, and now they have to deal with the repercussions of that until Max runs away because she doesn't want Ori to deal with her losing her memories. Ori takes off in pursuit of her and hopes to find her. Then we have Naz, an Indian immigrant in America training for the Olympics. When the first string of shadowlessness appears, she gets thrown into the bombardment of looting, pillaging, airports closing, and the realization that she may never see her family in India ever again. The last point of view is the one who gathers. He's a very mythological being. There's a lot of history and speculation to who this character really is, and it pulses and brings this beacon to those that are shadowless and non-shadowless alike to stream them to New Orleans for refuge and asylum and freedom. Section 4 is on suicide. Often the test of courage is not to die but to live by Vittorio Alfierti. The book I chose for this is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. This is an amazing story. I rave about it all the time and I want more people to read it. It is about a girl named Lee who's 16, dealing with life and struggles when her mother's depression overwhelms her and she ends up committing suicide. Now Lee is left in shambles trying to reconcile this grief and loss and also think about what led to this while also trying to reconnect with her father. And she notices that her mother's spirit turns into a red bird and she follows this red bird to Taiwan to meet her mother's parents for the first time and also gain answers and gain closure in this grieving process. Section 5 is on tragedy. I'm convinced that tragedy wants to harden us and that our mission is to never let it, by Sally Reardon from Felicity. And my pick for this is Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. This story will pull at your heartstrings as Mara is faced with a difficult conundrum. Her twin brother is accused of rape by her best friend Hannah, and now she has to reconcile all of these thoughts and feelings as she knows Hannah will never lie about this. But Owen is her twin brother and she really has to battle between supporting her friend or supporting her brother because she can't really realistically do both. She's also thrown into heartbreak as before all of these events take place, she broke up with her girlfriend, and so obviously she's already a hot mess going into the story, so things just spiral for her as she's dealing with this tragic incident and trying to reconcile her thoughts and feelings and also support the people she loves. Section 6 is on abuse. The untold truths of wisdom lie solely in the beating of the heart of an ill-treated child, whose wounds will heal and heart will seal, but memory will never die. This is by Savannah Marion. I really wanted to focus on a book that wasn't on sexual assault and rape for sexual abuse, so I worked on to a more psychological, mental form of abuse, which is found in Black Iris by Elliot Wake, formerly Leah Rader. This story is a conundrum of feelings as our main character, Lainey, is abused, bullied in high school for those that she likes because she starts having feelings for girls, and she's called whore and slut and queer, all varied in a derogatory, rude type of way, and things spiral out of control even further when her mother ends up committing suicide. So she resolves to be a loner and just get away and be her own self when she hits college. But things don't exactly happen the way she entails as she finds two friends and really tries to find herself and be her own person and overcome and come forward and move past her previous traumas from high school and even seek revenge on those that wronged her in her past. Section 7 is on courage. One of the most courageous things you can do is identify yourself, know who you are, what you believe in, and where you want to go, by Sheila Murray Bethel. The story I chose for this prompt is A Land of Permanent Goodbyes by Atiwa Abawi. This book will both crush your soul and your heart while simultaneously lifting it up, as this is a story on refugees fleeing from the Syrian conflict. It's narrated by Destiny and follows a family devastated as half of their family is lost after an apartment explosion takes their lives, and now a father, son, and daughter are fleeing the country to seek refuge and asylum in Turkey and then in Greece. You see the difficulties in this war-torn country as there is a lot of political and religious extremism, terrorism, people are undergoing public executions, women are being furtherly discriminated and even taken, raped, and assaulted. It really trashes your ability to see humanity when people saying they're helping these refugees gives them faulty life vests and other things that could most likely kill them. But this focus was really on seeing the good people in the world. There are still good people. There's people like those in the Red Cross helping these refugees stay afloat and be fed and clothed and healthy and treating all of these issues that happen. And there's also the friendships they make along the way and the nice people that help them out. So the family is obviously very courageous in seeking this tough, horrendous journey into freedom and safety, but also the people along the way are also showing immense courage in helping them and staying happy, hopeful people through this really difficult time. Section 8 is on learning difficult lessons. Experience as a hard teacher because she gives the test first, the lesson afterwards, by Vernon Saunders Law. The book I chose is The Beautiful Miscellaneous by Dominic Smith. This has our main character, Nathan, in a tragic car accident that takes his grandfather's life. As he wakes up and heals in the recovery room at a hospital, he finds out, along with his doctors, that he has developed synesthesia from the brain injury. This is where one sensation brings up another unrelated sensation. Like for Nathan's case, whenever he hears or sees words, he also experiences a color. This really boosts his memory and transforms him from an average student to a remarkable master of memory. So he's really consolidating his loss, but also this new ability, dealing with all the attention he's gaining from it. But he's also seeing how his father's perception of him changes, as his father is this really smart, famous physicist that they never really could connect, and then now they have something to connect with. Section 9 is on eating disorders and depression, which I would like to extend to really all mental illness issues. We have When It Gets Dark Enough, You Can See the Stars by Lee Salk. The book I chose for this is More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. This book takes place in the heart of New York, where our main character Aaron is going about his teenage life, learning about himself, learning about his friends. He has a girlfriend named Genevieve, but when he meets a new friend Thomas, feelings and emotions spring up in Aaron that he's not quite sure he can handle. In the wake of all of these things, the Lato Institute comes out with this technology that allows them to erase memories that are painful in hopes to make its inhabitants in the community a really happy and stress-free feelings and existence. This technology may not be all it's cracked up to be, which our main character Aaron figures out as the story goes along. Section 10 is on death and dying. It is only when we truly know and understand that we have a limited time on earth and that we have no way of knowing when our time is up that we will begin to live each day to the fullest, as if it were the only one we had. This is by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. The book I chose for this, I really wanted to stray away from the suicide aspect of dying and grief, and so I chose When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. This is an autobiography of Paul himself, really handling and struggling with his own mortality as he's just diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in his last year of neurosurgery residency. He poses a lot of really insightful, thoughtful thoughts and discussions and topics to really how he battled this idea of mortality, and the aspect of his death is coming way closer and sooner than he anticipated. The last section, section 11, is on growing up. There is always one moment in childhood when the door opens and lets the future in, and this is by Deepak Chopra. For this answer, I chose Habibi by Naomi Shihab Nye because this is the perfect story about growing up when you are uprooted from your country in America and your customs in America to live in a more conservative religious Palestine. This is a reality our main character Leilani figures out right after her very first kiss, and so she's not able to have a lot of romantic feelings and notions. She understands that she's starting to have feelings for people and wanting relationships and express herself, especially in a more adult way. However, when she's taken into Palestine, things are changed as she learns that the culture here is very different. She starts having feelings for Omer, who's a Jewish boy. Now, the Jewish community and the Arab community that she's a part of are very tense. Their relations are under a lot of strain in this country especially, and so she's really nervous about how to approach this topic with her parents and if they will let her date him or not. So this book is a lot about growing up, being thrown into a different culture and learning from it. It's also about love and relationships and family acceptance and family love, and I just absolutely love this story. So there we have my book recommendations on tough stuff / spontaneous book tag. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you do this tag. Please let me know what books you feel are really great examples of some of these prompts down below. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you want to continue and support me through either liking this video or subscribing down below. And I hope to see you guys next time, as I post every Tuesday and Friday. And until next time, I love you guys. Bye!